All right, I am calling the Village of Cross Plains Board of Trustees meeting of October 27th, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brad.
Here.
Trustee Brochus.
Here.
Trustee Borcar. Here. Trustee Borman.
Here.
Trustee Polanowski.
Here.
Trustee Calvin. Here. President Langell.
Here, please stand for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're at public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the village board on any issue. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes. Well, the village board encourages input from residents that may not discuss or act on any issue that is not duly noticed on the agenda.
All right, we have one. Seth, if you want to come up, please state your name and address.
Evening, Seth Johnson, 5002 Dolphin Village Boulevard. Just commenting on items 3 and 4 on the general business agenda related to traffic issues. Just in general, want to be supportive of recommendations made by the Public Safety Committee. I was at that meeting and started that discussion, so well, they're good, quick solutions to see if they help the problems with the noise, as well as with the traffic situation on Valley. Just put a little further than that, I think Valley Street, we have an opportunity to make some bigger changes, even without reconstructing the street. I've seen on Brewery Road, since we repaved it and narrowed it and put the lines on, it seems to me that it slowed traffic down. I don't know about everyone else. I think Valley, some things could be done with paint and signs, etc. Including delineating parking lanes, maybe allowing more parking than there is now. I don't know why the whole area in front of all those apartment buildings is not parking. But that would actually help slow traffic down if we allow cars to park there. So I just like to have the board and the public safety committee, I guess, consider more substantial changes to Valley. Again, things that can be done quickly and cheaply. Not talking about rebuilding the street, and obviously whenever that's due for a rebuild, there's some serious issues with it. So I just want to say that I think that these first solutions are a good thing to start with, but I would encourage you to consider more. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? All right, we'll go to consent agenda. Upon request of any trustee, any item may be removed from the consent agenda for separate consideration under general business. Does anybody have any item they'd like removed? All right.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same. So moved. All right, we'll go to report, village officers, start with meeting. I'm not gonna spend too much time. This agenda has a lot of extremely important items on it. It is important that everybody understands all the parts of it and don't feel rushed. If need be, we can move some of the ones at the end of the agenda to second Monday in November, which would be November 10th. I believe we'll have to do that anyways for the budget. But anyways, I just want to make sure everybody knows that let's take the time, even though it's a full agenda. That's all I have. I see.
We have a bunch of work anniversaries coming up. Carly has completed her first year, or will, 9/4. Erin Lambert will complete her first year on 9/5. Renee Bratton completes 37 years on 9/6. Scott Schmidt will complete 4 years on October 12th. And Mike Axon, sadly to say, is going to complete his 9-year on 10/30 or what? Nice. 19 years, but on the 30th, at 10/30. Congratulations, Mike. We're sad to see you. Oh. That is it.
All right. Other trustee reports? Sarah?
Last week I attended a panel on the housing crisis in Dane County that was sponsored by Way Forward and Middleton Public Library, Wisconsin Academy. And they gave a lot of really great resources and it was, there's a lot of really good information in that, so. Share any of that. I also think some, talking more with the city of Middleton would be, they seem to be a really good resource for some ideas and strategies.
Right, thank you. Cody?
We installed the new park in Scenic Valley. The one that we voted on last month is up and it looks beautiful,
Yeah,
especially for the price tag.
it's very cool. If you haven't been out there to see it, it's much bigger than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, it's very neat. All right, anybody else? All right, we'll go to village administrator.
Yeah, I just wanted to express our gratitude to Mike Axon, who it's almost 20 years he's been in Cross Plains. And I just wanted to say, like, he's leaving behind a really incredible legacy of leadership, teamwork, and commitment to this community. And even in my short time here, I've really learned so much from Mike about dedicating yourself to the community you serve, stepping up when the need arises, and so much more. So we'll miss you, Mike, and we know you'll do great things in Wanakee.
That's it?
That's all I have. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Village department heads and other reports. Come on up, chief.
I will be real quick, but I also want to echo everything that everyone has said about Mike. Mike has been an extraordinary partner for our department. He's been someone that I've leaned on through the years, and I know that he'll be greatly missed. The two topics that I just want to bring up, and you have them in your agenda. So the tabletop exercise, we went through and put together a tabletop exercise regarding a tornado, an F1 tornado. We didn't make it very difficult. We had about 20 or 30 people attend. First responders, village staff. We worked through a tabletop exercise. And I did provide you a copy of that, what that tabletop exercise went. We then did, after it was done, which we would do, if we had a major event, we would have a after action report. So I followed that same streamline, even though it was a tabletop exercise. So that's what you would expect, would be that after action report that you should have received as well. Basically it gives us all the positives, but then all the areas where we can improve. In almost every after action report, whether it's an operational report or like this tabletop, you're always going to see issues of communication, people trying to, especially if you got movement within the groups, understanding what we have to do. But I think overall the event went very well. We had a couple of board members that attended so they could share their experience. We had some good laughs, but we also took it very seriously, and people really, I had a lot of positive feedback. So the next step is to do another tabletop exercise, probably within the next 18 months or so, and that will be a little more intense, and then kind of gradually move into a full scale exercise. And so that takes years of planning. You can't just do those. And it also takes some money and grant funding and stuff like that. So I'm gradually moving forward on that with regards to the emergency management position that you all bestowed on me. So I think we're eons away from where we were when I took it over, but that's in part to the committee, in part to all first responders taking this very seriously, and all of you giving us the resources to do it. So that's all I have for that after action report. I don't know if Mike and Bill have any comments or that you'd like to make, or anybody for that matter.
I thought it was great. I thought it was there's a lot of moving pieces to it that I hadn't really thought about. So that was, so thank you for putting that together. Appreciate that.
I'll say I think it's great getting people to think about what they need to do in a situation like that, just ahead of time.
Right. And you made a good Jay. We had to role play you.
Oh, okay.
That's for the laughing.
Oh, there's so much alike.
I think there was somebody to me too, though, wasn't there?
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
we had the camera.
I heard.
So we had some fun and we got things done. Special kudos to Adam Johnson. He's a lieutenant for the fire department. He and I spent a lot of hours outside of our committee, putting this together, just getting all the little fine tuned things done. So I really want to thank him for all his work. Okay, the other one that even quicker, so Oktoberfest came and went. And before that came, I just felt the need, since it didn't have a lot of planning phase to it. I put together an operation plan, much like I would do for a search warrant or any big event. And basically outlined everything that was going to happen. So, and in this case, I was gone. I was at my son's wedding, so I needed to write it all up so that whoever was here could just kind of use that as a guiding tool. Sounds like it went very well. The operation plan was shared with everybody involved. The event went very well. I did prepare an after action report. I wasn't there, so I had to rely on interviews and talking to people, but as you will see, the after action report was good. We did meet with Rachel and just kind of ironed out some things for next year. She has a lot of great ideas, and so I think it's good for the village. So unless you have any questions, I just thought I'd prepare this stuff for you.
Right, Bill.
I just got a comment. I don't know if this is the first time you've done this consistently or not, but I really enjoy and appreciate the after action report on all those items. Because usually an event will come and go, like even Ironman, you know? And I know we're basically used as consultants or whatever the case might be to help with traffic and whatnot, but events like that, I think it's really good to have that type of after action report, and I really appreciate you putting that together for that Oktoberfest, so thank you for that.
Okay. So I guess I have a.
Well, I want to just go with Bill. Obviously, we do them all the time. Law enforcement's very used to doing that on all events. I would, so I think it's great because it's also good to historical. If the chief's gone now, someone can take this out and it's not start from scratch. But it would also be helpful to bring everybody in. So if Parks had it, they had some concerns or a summary of that, you know, Public Works, everybody should, and if there's a financial piece, everybody should put a piece to that after action and recommendations for changes to it. So I agree that's kind of common in law enforcement, but we should make that kind of a village policy that we do that on big events, so people know and have a historical perspective of these events.
Okay, so is that a formal ask to do after action reports on all, like Memorial Day? I mean, I know you mentioned Ironman, that's not a real big.
No, but trout
because-
days.
But trout days, if that's the case, that's fine, it doesn't, I mean, it's just an added thing on my to-do. I will try to reach out to everybody, like Parks does have a lot to do with, especially some of those events, so I don't have a problem doing that, if that's what you guys would like.
Well, I would go one step farther. I would encourage and have Matt start doing them. I'm, if we want to build our employees, right, and their skill sets, you know, start with that and some of that stuff. I mean, the memorial one's a pretty easy one. We've done it for forever to write it up, where the barricades were, where the cones were, what time you set them up, what time you took them down, that kind of stuff. I think our staff should be able to do that. I see this table, I think where the big part comes in is the planning. Especially when you do tabletops, there's an incredible amount of work on that. And that I would not say, but as in taking a look and asking people, interviewing people, how they thought it went. And seeing how it went and talking, I think that, it's just a thought. I think that to take some of the work off of you, I think a supervisor should be able to do that.
How about I split it? So let's just say that starting next year, I will work with him on the first year to get it done, and then it'll be something that he takes care of
Sure.
in the future. Just because I feel like even though I have a lot of experience in this, it's still, you gotta have a really good foundation of what you're trying to report. And if I don't have the opportunity to teach him, I think you're not gonna.
No, I went through it, but I think what you have there is you have your template,
Right.
right? You have your formation, map of the area. When it start, who's involved, the phone, those aren't gonna change, you're changing the map and stuff, but the format, you got a template made, and both of them you saw were very similar.
No, I agree. I mean, developing staff is very, very important, so I think this will be a good opportunity to develop in those things. I've already involved in some of our search warrants and things like that, so. And he's doing subpoenas, and so it's a lot of that falls into, so, okay. So great, I just got more work, so
Huh?
I just got more work. So it's-
Well, I'm trying to take the work away from you and delegate it.
Any other questions?
I mean, just on the work topic, it doesn't have to be for everything. You pointed out big ones, or some, I don't know, more than 500 people.
Yeah,
But if there's like a permit for a neighborhood thing.
No,
need
yeah.
money for that.
I think what we're talking about is like Memorial Days, truck days, any.
Oktoberfest.
Chris Lamar, I think that stuff will, and I think it helps. I mean, to me, the after action report is to prepare us in case things are, didn't work out. But I think it also helps prepare you guys to make that decision whether we're gonna continue it. It's easier for me to come back and say, I don't think we should be doing this because of X, Y, and Z, if I have it documented.
And it also is helpful to, for example, the map, that should go to EMS, that should go to fire and police that are on duty, because now if they say go to the petting zoo, well, now they'll know exactly where that is. So there's a safety preparedness level for doing the planning of it.
Perfect.
How you gonna get a fire truck in? How you gonna get an ambulance in?
And that's what we did with.
Right.
We had it all ironed out, so there was no question how they would.
Right. And that model could be used for any event at the Legion now, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, if they could handle that, then they could handle pretty much anything.
Right.
Definitely even Memorial Day would be lots
Yeah,
people than that. So. Okay, any other questions?
no, it was very good. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Mike, you wanted to come up?
All right, first thing, obviously, thank you all for the nice messages, emails, texts, whatever it has been over the last week or so. It's obviously not an easy decision for me to make, and I appreciate, when I think about starting when I was 24 years old, I gotta say thank you to the board and the residents for taking a chance on me. A young man, didn't have a whole lot of, experience with this field, so since then, thank you for allowing me to grow up as an individual and as a professional. This community means a lot to me. And, it's in good hands. Some fantastic employees going forward. So thank you for that. Two things. Number one, the amphitheater is now complete. They finished up cleaning all the concrete and everything up today. There's a few cut sheets.
The building's up even?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Checked it out today.
On Saturday, I looked, I saw the grass was all straw down. I just didn't see the building I must have zipped by so fast.
It's definitely there, Jay.
Oh, which one?
Pull your
The
license.
electrical is done. Yeah, the lights and everything are up. I have not got confirmation that it's connected with MGE yet.
Oh, that's fine,
But
but the
yeah,
work-
all their work is done. Done for them. We're having a walkthrough on Wednesday morning. Just to go through different items that need to be done. Kind of like that, but, kudos to the Lions, Lisa Lassiter, Kevin Mooney. I mean, it looks amazing. I really feel like it's gonna be a really good showcase for this village moving forward, so good job to them. And then on a separate note, obviously, if everybody had noticed, there was an incident down in Berry Park on Friday. Medical emergency, sounds of things. I actually did talk to the gentleman today. He's really sorry and apologize for obviously having it all happen. It wasn't his fault. Said if he could drive, he would have been down there trying to clean it all up today. So, in general, had a great conversation, waiting on the police report, just to get that back from the police department, and then trying to work with the insurance company, to see what we need to do or what we can do. I do have a couple of calls into some fence companies already, just to see if they can come out and give us some quotes, so we can get things rolling a little bit before I take off on the 14th. Otherwise, I'll ask so we can kind of push the end on that, finish things up, or Dane, you know, before I leave. So hopefully it's kind of cleaned up and at least in working with that. Soon, but,
Was it a pickup truck?
yeah.
Okay. I went down there and put awful aggressive tires on it.
It might have been.
Because I
didn't see-
saw the tracks in, I went down because all my neighbors were coming. I just walked down there and I could definitely see what had happened, but on the sand, you know, the
Yeah.
ball diamond, you know, he went across there, then up the hill and into to the left there. And at first I thought it was a UTV because it was such an aggressive track, but I said, there's no way a UTV could do that kind of damage.
What happened exactly?
I don't know exactly the emergency or whatnot, but obviously Ross, you know, was driving down Valley Street. And by the looks of it, I think he was on the road still when he left Valley, but then I think he must have gotten air and actually went down. He went through the tennis court, you know, and then onto the baseball field. And I think when he got on the field, he kind of came to, because otherwise he was headed straight for the backstop, which.
Yep,
that would've-
because he curved towards second base then.
He took out a good 3 poles or so. I mean, we didn't have a chance.
The tennis court.
This house looks pretty bad in general, but I mean, everything's standing up, so just kind of surprising.
Well, the 3 poles are flat as pancake.
Yeah,
Where he
yeah.
actually went over,
Yeah.
and that big chunk of concrete on the
Yeah.
backside.
And on the front side, there's a bigger chunk on the front, or on the, towards the field.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
busted out. We'll try and kind of get things looked at and see what, you know, what should be done next, and bring at least some ideas of if we need to make large changes to everything down at the board and have to decide that, but in general, at least try and get things cleaned up and make it look a little bit.
Did you want to?
I don't have much more to add. I mean, it pretty much how Mike described it's how it happened. Initially, I didn't, even when I went down there, I'm like, well, how did they go to the fence? Cause it's still all kind of packed. And I think the community was kind of like, that didn't happen here, you know, that was a crash. But it definitely is a crash, and they just went through the fence and the fence just came back.
Yeah, the things that hold the fence gave, so the car basically went under the fence, but you can see the poles that were actually hit by the car are just flat.
And the tire tracks all the way.
Yeah, you can follow it all the way,
Go
yeah.
to it at some point, so that report is complete, and review done, and crash reports filed with the state, so we're all done with it. No citations were issued. There's just, that's just not, that wouldn't be okay.
Yeah. Oh.
So thankfully, no one else was hurt. and-
Yeah,
We got it was in summer.
Yeah.
I got
Right.
what time of day was it?
early, 5:30, 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, my husband had gone 2 Walgreens and back on our way back. It happened in that. Short span.
Well, you wouldn't think I was a
But the
trained
police were
observer,
very
because I went by at
fast.
7 o'clock, didn't even notice it.
And you missed the shelter?
I know, I gotta get my eyes checked.
Yeah. You still wanna drive a bus? I don't think so.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
If you haven't seen the shelter, you should take a look at it, because it's really, you see it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's beautiful. They did a great job. There's a great brickwork going up to the shelter, so you should really, if you haven't seen it, go take a look at it, take some time.
All righty. We're going to general business. Number 1, discussion and possible action regarding certified survey map drafts of section 15 town of Cross Plains.
All right. So this one has already been approved by Plan Commission back in October, on October 6th. So this is at 4200 County Highway P. The owner is wanting to split the current residence on the property onto its own lot, so wants to split the property into 2. And so this was already conditionally approved by Dane County back in August. And so since these lots fall into the village's extraterritorial land division jurisdiction, the review process is the same as it would be for anything within village limits. So the recommendation is to allow for the rezone to create a lot 1 and a lot 2, because this complies with all land division ordinances in our municipal code.
I'll make a motion to approve certified survey map, section 15, town class ones.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion, a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same, so moved. Number 2, discussion and possible action regarding certified survey map draft, section 36, town of Berry.
All right, so then this one is another free zone request. So this is over in the town of Berry at 4837 Enchanted Valley Road, where the owner is purchasing 1.32 acres from their neighbor, who's at 4827 Enchanted Valley Road, so they can give themselves some more space on the back of their garage. Again, this was approved back in on October 6th from the Plan Commission, and already has conditional approval from the county as well.
I'll make a motion to approve certified survey map, section 36, town of Berry.
Okay.
All right, I have a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same, so moved. Number 3, discussion and possible action regarding engine braking creek crossing development.
You want me to take it? Well, I can start.
Go ahead.
So public safety, got this one from residents, in Creek Crossing. Basically, when you come into the village of Cross Plains on P there, the thought is that it's going from 55 to 25 in kind of a short distance, and semis then use the really loud engine braking, which is not good for in the little neighborhood there. And the resident that was speaking to us spoke about, very young children and trying to get them to bed and stuff, and waking them up with the loud noise. So we talked a lot with Seth at Public Safety on kind of what to do there, and our recommendation was with the creek crossing purchase, we own like a tiny little bit of land out by the road there. Otherwise, it then is owned by the county until you get closer to St. Francis. And so the thought was, could we put a sign out there, where we can, where we own it, that, no engine, for no engine braking. Did you want to add?
Is that the real, I thought it was air braking, is it engine braking, is that the term that the
Yeah.
state statute uses, okay?
It's definitely happening. We've been sitting out there as staff if they're on patrol duties to spend some time out there, not only for visibility, so the community knows that we're there, but also to actually curb some of that. They're not finding violations, which you well know, if you sit there, then people slow down, people don't use engine braking and those kind of things. But I have been down the street and I've heard them, so it is happening. This is kind of a somewhat of a fix. The county is actually right now, if you drive out that road, they were there this morning, pulling some data. They're thinking about lowering the speed all the way up to Creek Crossing. So there's a study going on right now.
Like on Creek Road?
Yeah, no, not north, actually P, or going out to North Hill, lowering that down, because it is kind of hard, like even for semis, they're going from, 55, 45, and they just drop drastically all the way to town. So before they know it, they're in a lot lower, so then they hit those engine brakes, and that's usually where we're having the trouble. So they are studying that right now. There's a good chance that will change the speed. We have no authority, obviously, to change it, but they do. So if they do, that will help. They'll probably drop it to 35, and so then that whole area will be slower. This is, I lean on Seth too sometimes when we're talking about these things, since that's what he does. So, and I support it 100%, the idea of doing this, to just try it out and see if it helps. We will continue to monitor it. We'll continue to stop semi-traffic there. There is a cost to it. Looks like $915. I got those numbers from Matt. So that's the cost.
So here's the thing, I'm all for putting up the sign of no engine braking at where you want. I'm not in favor of moving the city limits there because of what you mentioned, where it's city and then it goes to township. I don't want it to say village and then town of Berry and then village. So I think that has nothing to do with the noise or anything. I would prefer leaving this village limit signs there until we annex that other property into the village. Just so there isn't confusion.
I think that's,
I just-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just wanna make sure you're talking putting the no engine braking sign on the north side where Hill Point goes up.
Yeah.
Right,
That's-
but the village would have no way to enforce anyone using an engine brake on that stretch of road directly behind Creek Crossing.
We do share jurisdiction on
Yeah,
that road.
Yeah, you can do state statute.
And every officer is deputized, so technically we can.
It's just we would not get the
We
revenue.
would just, the ticket would be not municipal.
And
We read about the ticket that gets read.
Yeah, because you're not using a city ordinance ticket
We have,
because we can't.
all officers have county-wide jurisdiction because we're all deputized.
Bill. Again,
So my house on Hillebrand kind of peaks over Highway P going south. Right, across from the farm,
yep,
right? I hear engine brake or air braking there all the time. I really do. I got a hill in between me and that road, but I still hear, especially at nighttime when it's summertime, when the windows are open. And we have other subdivisions coming from the west. We have the apartments over on the east. When you guys talked about this in public safety, did you talk about doing it for the entire village? All the major roads coming in or just coming in key from the north?
It just came up at that location.
And you'll see from this one and the next one, we were keeping the scope kind of small because we weren't trying to take on a big expensive anything,
Okay.
so.
And we haven't got, engine braking is happening in every community across the state. I mean, it just happened. This one, we actually received a complaint there. It's more than just one person. It's a kind of a committee of people in that new neighborhood. They just moved here.
Is it because the houses are so close to the
Yeah,
road?
and and there's not much, like you just described, there's not much protection. Once you get past that little area, it's wide open. So I think the other comment that you made makes sense. The thought was to move that speed limit sign to give a perception that you're already in the village. That's where that thought process came from. Doesn't, but totally understand what you're saying. It makes sense to add the no engine brake. It's just a sign. Right, we have stop signs and you can blow right through those. So
A suggestion.
it's just a suggestion.
but I think truck drivers are used to seeing the sign and notifying, and you're right, I think. It's because the speed goes to 55 to 45 and to 25 in a short, so if they would stretch the 45 section longer. Then the trucks can naturally slow down.
Right.
You know, they're using their engine brakes because that's the safety thing to slow down a big truck. So, I mean, it's not like they're doing something bad for people. That's how they slow down that truck. But if it slows down naturally, then they can just use the, yeah.
And
Go ahead, Michael. It was Cameron, then Michael.
Chief Tony said I was gonna explain why we were thinking the sign.
Okay.
but I agree with him that it's fine if we don't want to move that one.
Okay. Michael.
And it's okay that we put this no engine braking sign and then it turns back into a county road or whatever, that isn't an issue or.
I don't, as long as we erect it in a location where we have jurisdiction to erect it, and I think we do, because we actually looked into that spot. And so we're fine where it's going.
So is it, but it's gonna be on P or is it on North Hill Point?
No, Pete.
It's on P, so we own a section of the right of way of P.
Right, it's this little.
You know, we're gonna do the flood mitigation, so on both sides, that right by the creek there. Is we own both sides.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then
Yeah.
as far as enforcement, we can enforce it.
Yeah,
It's just, an engine braking violation state statute is a lot more expensive than a municipal violation. But we could enforce it, we just don't, on that strip, all the way to Karen Street. You can enforce it, it's just that the citation would go with the county. It's a county ticket, it wouldn't be a municipal village ticket.
you can just,
The point being is that we're trying to get them to comply. It's
Yeah.
gonna be the same people. It's probably the same people driving through here. It's not.
It's an education.
It's an educational thing. I mean, in 27 years, I've never written an engine brake ticket, but I've stopped a lot of people for that, because we get complaints over the course of time. It's happening everywhere.
Can you put a time frame on that?
I don't,
I don't know if villages or towns or cities have done that or not. I don't
I've
know.
never
I've
seen that.
never seen.
It's just, they just
Oh,
can.
yeah, they just.
Yeah.
Except in emergency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is an emergency clause. Yeah.
Sure.
And I've seen it, the emergency has happened right by Mike's engine. I've seen it where people have cut them off, and that makes sense, Mike's mobile.
Yeah,
That makes sense there, you know, they have the engine brakes, that's what they're for, preventing crashes and things.
yeah, they're pulling a lot of weight.
Right.
All right, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the, engine braking Creek Crossing development. Sign.
How about, I'm
Here's
just suggesting no engine braking sign erected near North Hill Point Road. On P,
Sounds good to me.
all right,
I'll second that.
all right. I have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. So moved. All right, number 4, discussion and possible action regarding stop bar and extended no parking lane near Julius Street and Valley Street intersection.
Carly, for this one, I sent you an email, like 30 minutes before the meeting, with
Oh.
a picture.
Okay,
It might be helpful to have that picture for this one.
sure.
Because otherwise we're all gonna not know. Well, it was confusing when public safety talked about it.
I'm assuming the stop.
But I do like how you ended it up.
Yeah, yeah, and again, thanks to Seth, I mean, he provided some good info.
So that was the one we just talked about.
That's the engine brake.
So let's roll. Yeah, here we go.
Okay,
You're a Photoshop.
Wow. Well, is there I just did this. We were talking about it and we had the picture of the spot. While we were talking, you know, on my iPad, I can just draw. So I was able to kind of draw through the conversation.
Yeah,
here, hold on, I'm just.
So
gonna
yeah,
check.
no, it wasn't meant to be beautiful, but it was to show what we discussed. We discussed a few things. So the house in question is right, like it's
Yeah.
right there. It's the one on the corner here. And with the conversation with Seth, we came to a few recommendations. One was a painted stop bar on the upper part of the image there where I scribbled in white.
Yeah.
Because there is a stop sign there, but the stop sign is like back quite a bit. So you're putting a stop bar there to make it a little bit more clearer, hey, you're supposed to stop here. And then we also talked about painted lines kind of what Seth was talking about to show, so number 1 is the stop bar, number 2 is that the parking line right there in front of the house, obviously not to scale there, but just something to show to narrow the road a little bit.
What's happening is people are blowing through that stop sign.
Yeah.
We've had some crashes at that location. One of them significant was last year. Nobody got hurt, but totaled 2 cars out. That the people that have proposed this are the ones that own that home. Their home is built way too close to the curb. And so that's creating that triangulation.
Yeah.
And we have an ordinance on triangulation that's creating that triangulation problem. So when people come up, they think we're clear, and then all of a sudden, these people that roll through the stop sign don't. So the stop bar, you guys have seen them all over, they just, some of them even say stop on them. It's just a big white line, it makes it feel like you gotta stop it.
It allows the car to pull up to that.
And to sneak up to there.
Yeah.
The white lines are very much like the ones on Park Street that we discussed a couple years ago. You remember, they're just to create that visual so kids can, because there's no sidewalk up there, it just creates that visual, like scoot over a little bit, so that way you can also pierce over. Easy fixes, there is some cost to it, which we provided, not a lot, but there is some cost. The home also, I mean, it eliminates some of their parking because they have that yellow. They even ask for more yellow, even just to keep people away from their home. They understand that their home creates that problem, right? Because if they were pushed back, we probably wouldn't have such an issue.
Right.
So those are the recommendations. Again, Seth, I'm glad he took the time to show up at our meeting. He provided a lot of guidance. The original recommendation was a stop sign right there where you see all those weeds. Was a stop sign. That just wasn't, it wasn't feasible.
Right, and the hard thing is the stop sign's so far back, so if you stop there and you take off, and like not even blowing the stop sign, you
Right.
stop back there, but you take off, you can't see a lot of times another car.
And anybody who's driven.
I
on
wish
Valley
those
Street,
streets were gone.
That's been brought up here today. Valley Street is one of our, it's not like Church Street, but it's a thorough. People
Right,
know they
oh,
can
totally.
come in on Valley and fly down to Main Street,
I do.
and they do. So we've had traffic tickets there. Taylor loves that spot, so he sits there a lot, because people fly down that street.
But
It's
there's
just-
a stop sign 1 block out,
Right,
right?
Right.
So the cars are should be only getting to the speed for 1 block. In the same way on 14, you're making a left or right turn and that's only 1 block, so. Yeah, there's a speed problem and I'm not sure, I'm glad you didn't go with the stop sign, cause I wouldn't have supported that, but I think. That stop bar absolutely is 100%, it shows where cars can move up and legally stop, which should give them a much better vision. I'm with Judy, I don't think, since they're complaining about that, they need to cut those flowers back.
Okay.
Those are awful high, if you're
They are, it's hard
if
to
you're
see.
in a lower seating car, you're gonna have to even squeeze out farther, so they should. And I think we have an ordinance that you're not allowed to
That's a
do that.
triangulation.
Yeah, so I think they need to be part of the solution also. I'm not really sure about the line, if it's just what, are you looking at 40 feet or
Like
you
a
going?
bike lane.
Like a bike lane.
I know, but how far up Valley Street are you going?
So
Oh, just.
we-
Where you
I
go?
was gonna say, like, similar to the last one, we kept the scope, we were just trying to be
Yeah.
around this house. We did not recommend doing something all the way up Valley Street or anything, but that was, I think, Seth's public comment was saying, hey, we could look at something more holistic, but that was not what.
Well, I'm just
public safety
asking, what are you guys recommending? How long of a line is that?
We had discussed like a couple house lengths or something, just to.
Just go the
skinny
length
it
of
there.
Like 60 to 70 feet?
Sure.
What about the stop signs previously?
There to Lewis?
Julius.
That just,
Julie's?
I mean, yes, that seems like an overkill,
Yeah.
but I think they were thinking more like in front of their home and maybe the next.
Just to that parking lot, isn't there a parking lot?
Well, there's a
right
parking
there?
lot there for that
Right.
apartment building.
Right, so if you just-
So maybe just out there.
Oh,
maybe they get-
okay.
Just keeping it kind of concentrated,
Right.
that's the problem. Going further up, I mean, there's other locations where that might be beneficial around village.
This is the tip of the problem spear.
Yeah, we weren't trying
We
to
weren't
create
trying to-
$100,000.
I understand. I was just trying to get it understand if I'm gonna vote for that strike part, I just
Yeah.
need to know, I mean,
think
I see the scribble mark, but that's about 6 feet, and I'm not sure.
I'm
that would
thinking
do any
right To the
good.
parking lot, to that building.
Perfect.
Okay,
Well,
That would make sense.
how far back is that yellow on the curb? Is that gonna go
That-
back to that parking lot?
But
That whole-
I would say mirror both of those and then that's it.
The same
So
place.
nobody parks there either. And they're all in favor of it. It affects them the most, but I mean, they're.
There's a big truck that parks
But the-
there.
I was gonna say, but the reason for the no parking there is, I mean, the weeds are a problem, but like, if there's a
yeah,
car there, it's
I
not a bigger problem.
I agree with the yellowing, I'm just saying. It's counterproductive to have the yellowing and doing this and all that, and then we leave those big
Right.
weeds where people can't see.
Right.
And they gotta even inch out more, so.
Those are flowers.
Sure.
It's
They're not-
Oh, isn't that a milkweed there?
Well, I don't.
It's for the butterflies.
Not
Look
an
at the
action
sustainability.
we'll take. So.
So,
We'll deal with,
See what they
I'm
did
sure
there?
they'll be fine taking.
In the right way, we can take them down.
Yeah, that's true.
Bill.
on Julius, is the pole in the way from moving the stop sign further east towards the corner, or why?
We did talk about moving the stop sign up, and Seth said that there's the telephone pole, there's another power thing there, there's also the fire hydrant.
And
So there's a lot of issues of moving.
It's
that
more of a
stop sign.
it kind
sweeping,
of curves
it's a
away
sweeping
so
corridor
it's
too.
curved.
That's why the.
Oh.
It's in
I see
front of
that.
the
I see
telephone
that,
pole.
yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
Can you
what,
put flashing lights on it?
what this is gonna create is you got the stop sign and then you kind of edge your way out and feel like you gotta almost come to a second stop
Right.
to look.
right,
It just gives you that perception that's it.
Yeah, but I think it's a smart move that you have that, because that legally allows cars to get to that point to stop. So I think that's good.
And you just follow the same path as the curb.
Right.
Well, I'll say I'm fine with the stop bar and the yellow, but that white strip on the road just seems sort of awkward a little. I mean, I get the point, but it's just sort of like, it isn't like down Park where you have a big walking lane and a parking lane. It's just one section. Is what the weirdness is with it.
I'm with you. It does seem weird to me.
It would, to address the speed, then it was,
Yeah,
that recommended trying to narrow the road because this the family here has little children.
Yeah.
And, said that, and there was a big accident right there, so, I mean, we don't have to do that, but
I would say as someone at the 10-year-old who rides their bike down that, I wish there were more bike lanes.
Right.
That
Yeah,
should some guidance, so anywhere where we can add it, I would be for it.
This is gonna be like 60 feet all night.
That's
Well, I would call it a bike click.
but you wouldn't, I mean,
It's
you wouldn't rather when you're out there painting the stop bar, do, at least get 60 feet of bike lane.
If we're gonna do that, to me, just run it all the way up to the next street.
that's what I would say,
So you have a block at least.
right.
I mean, what are we talking about?
I just
Hundred
think
yards,
these are
maybe?
three
Yeah.
good ideas, and I think that family would be happy with anything to further that problem.
Let's do it, but I'm good with the length of the street, I mean, we don't have a cost estimate for that, but.
I would say going the length for the next block, you're gonna essentially say there's no parking on that whole section.
Oh, no, I'm just doing the lane.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Put the white down, then
You're-
can't.
Like it is on Park Street, the parking side lane is 8 feet off of the curb to allow parking. Where a bike lane is only 3 feet off the curb, it's gonna look like there's no parking.
Right, it means people wouldn't be able to park on the other side of
Yeah.
that apartment building. If you.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
We're running the yellow curb to that parking lot of the next property. But I think the white line is gonna look odd until we redo Valley Street and make it semi.
And maybe you just wait to redo Valley when you do.
Yeah.
Kind of like you did Brewery Road.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it makes sense to wait,
This is a
something that we're
temporary
already
fix.
thinking
It's the
about.
Band-Aid.
There's really two good fixes, the yellow line that creates no parking and the white stop bar, those are probably 1 and 2. This other thing was just brought up as a traffic calming measure.
It would slow down the cars on that.
Yeah. But it's such a small.
I think it might cause confusion.
Yeah,
Correct.
I agree.
Like, can I drive here or not? And then-
Alright, well, let's get a motion on the table
You
here.
try to get one. I'll make the motion to paint a white,
I gotcha.
paint white stop bar on Julia Street at Valley Street. And extend the yellow no parking lane past the residence, to the next driveway. Is what we had talked about.
Yep.
And then no recommendation on the bike lane.
Alright, do I have a second?
Second.
Alright, I have a motion and a second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Does anybody wanna make a motion for this white strip? Or everybody comfortable with it?
Waiting until we were doing Valley Street.
Yeah. We're good then, move on, alright. Number 5, discussion and possible action regarding resolution providing for the sale of approximately 3,920,000. General obligationary promissory note series 2025A.
Do you wanna take this, Bobby? We can just introduce Ariana.
Ariana from Ellers is on the call, this is. The borrowing that we're gonna do for the year, so it's $3 million towards the new building. 200 for architect fees, 250 for road projects, and then the ambulance is the other 100, whatever tells me.
All right. Thanks, Bobby. Hi, this is Ariana Schmidt. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us tonight. I'm just going to walk through the pre-sale report at a high level and then we'll talk through the tables. But if there's anything you'd like me to go through in additional detail, I am happy to do so. So please feel free to stop me at any time. If you can proceed to the next page, just start with the high level summary. So as Bobby had mentioned, this is roughly $3.92 million in general obligation promissory notes. These will be used to finance a variety of public purposes, including equipment, vehicles, streets, and village hall improvements. And we do have a table later on that breaks down the exact project and cost by purpose. You can see that as well. And all purposes within this debt issue will be repaid by the property tax levy. One thing to note is that communities are restricted on how much general obligation debt you can have outstanding at one time, which is limited to 5% of your total equalized value of the village. So upon issuance of these notes, you'll be at about 25% of your limit, meaning you still have about an additional $26 million in capacity, meaning you're in a good position to be able to issue these notes and still be in a healthy position. We are not getting these notes rated at this time because we don't expect that the cost of getting the rating would result in significant savings from a lower interest rate. So that cost of issuance is not a part of these notes. And then I'm actually going to skip down to page 83 and just walk through the timeline here. So next steps in the process following tonight, just going through the set sale resolution, outlining what we plan to go to market with. Thereafter, there's a variety of steps that happen on the back end that help us to compile the village's official statement. That will be finalized about a week before the sale. And then on November 24th, we will go to market. This is a competitive sale where we will go out and hopefully receive multiple bids from various underwriters, and the lowest interest rate will be the winning bidder. And then that evening, we will be back to present the results of the sale in comparison to our pre-sale estimates that you'll see here. And then roughly 3 weeks later, on December 18th, is the closing, and that is the date in which you'll receive all of the proceeds of the notes. So next, I'm going to go through the tables, starting on page 84. Before we get into the structure of the notes, we just like to kind of go through where the village's debt profile is today prior to adding any additional debt. So right now in 2025, the village has about $1.5 million in GO debt payments outstanding. There are some additional abatement sources, meaning other revenue sources that pay in towards the debt payments from TID 3 and then from the utilities, both water and sewer. So after those abatement sources make their portion, that results in the net tax levy portion, which in 2025 is about $1.1 million supported by the tax levy. You'll notice in 2026, that drops to about $770,000, meaning that gives us about $400,000 of capacity where we can add in new debt in 2026. So that way you don't feel any increase based on the amount of levy that is paying in towards the debt. So that's really why now is a good time to issue the debt, because we issue in 25, meaning your first payment will be in 2026. And you want to make sure that that's authorized prior to setting your budget, so you know how much to budget for in terms of in terms of your debt service payment that the levy will owe in 2026. Moving on to table number 2. This just highlights the capital improvement plan that we talked through. Within this financing plan, we do have projected out future projects as well. So you can see overall the amount that you'd be able to issue debt for, in which the levy will be repaying those debt service payments for the next 5 years. So we can make a strategic structure of the debt so that way you know what to anticipate for a tax impact, which we'll walk through that tax impact later. But 2026 through 2029 is really just for illustrative purposes at this time. You're not committing to any of that right now. All that we're looking at for the immediate future is that 2025 column of the ambulance, street maintenance and street sweeper, and the village hall projects. Table 3 just walks through for the 2025 notes, the various purposes. The reason that you see different durations and that some are 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years is because we like to amortize the debt over a time period that matches the life of the asset. So for example, the ambulance is not going to have as long of an asset life as Village Hall will. So we'll amortize the ambulance portion for 5 years and the Village Hall portion for 20 years. So that's more so just for the structure on our back end. And then for cost of issuance expenses, you've got our cast of characters here, including Ellers, who we municipal advisor. We have Quarles and Brady, who serves as the village's bond counsel and disclosure counsel. The underwriter will take a payment when they bid on the issue. Then your paying agent, which is who helps you make your payments on time. All of those costs added together are how we get to our net issue size of $3.92 million. Table 4 just walks through the structure in a little more detail, and the next slide, the tax impact, will explain what this means to a sample taxpayer. But really, again, this just showcases the different durations of the terms of each portion of the issue. We are using an interest rate scale based on a recent sale that happened about 3 weeks ago, early in October, plus 35 basis points to give us a little bit of a cushion. So we try to compare to comparable sales, comparable issue size, and similar patterns to that of the issuer. So table 5, this again includes the next 5 years of issuance. So you can see overall where the opportunities are to layer in new debt while keeping your tax levy stable. What we want to avoid is a roller coaster where you see your tax levy spike 1 year and then a big drop the next year, because you want taxpayers to be able to anticipate somewhat of a level impact so they know how much they're going to be paying towards debt each year. So again, really what we're looking at is the 2025 GO notes, that first column in orange. That is the issue at hand this evening, but for illustrative purposes, we do have the next 4 years of issues built out as well. So if we look at just the 2025 issue, in 2026, when that first year of payments hit, you'll see there's about $475,000 that will be due in principal and interest for that issue. And again, if you recall from when we looked at the base case, in your current debt profile, we have about that much falling off of your existing debt profile, meaning we can layer in that new debt with minimal impact. So for a sample taxpayer, they'll be seeing about $1.95, which is their total tax rate for debt service. Right now, prior to adding any new debt in 2025, that's at $1.97. So we try to keep that relatively level from 1 year to the next. And then as we incorporate those additional debt issues for the future, we try to keep a level increase of about $130,000 to $140,000 each year of increasing levy impact. So again, we'll analyze each of those issues at the time of issuance, but just so you can see bigger picture, the goals we're trying to achieve, this kind of showcases the strategy behind the plan. Any questions on the tax impact before I get into your debt capacity?
Doesn't look like it.
We're all good.
All right. Then lastly here is your general obligation debt capacity, which I did speak to earlier, that upon issuance of these notes, you'll be at about 25% of your debt issue, or excuse me, of your debt capacity. On the right-hand side in orange, you can see that there. We did want to showcase the future impact of those future debt issues, where that puts you in terms of how much general obligation debt you have outstanding. So as you can see, each year, for the most part, it's increasing, some years decreasing as you have current debt amortizing. But the highest that we get is to just shy of 39%. We typically like to see communities stay below 65 to 75% of that max. So you have availability there if you would need to issue debt that you don't have planned. So all that to say, the village is in a very healthy position in terms of not using too much of your general obligation debt capacity, even with issuing debt over the next 5 years. So with that, I will turn it back to staff unless there are any questions for me.
Does anybody have any questions? Well, thank you very much. That was great. Very helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
All right, so what we have if you agree with everything that has been presented to you, there's the resolution that has been written up. So we would need a motion to,
Well,
oh,
I just wanna say, I don't know if people are comfortable with what they presented with the 137. I know just taking out. The more debt, they say that our total rate is 195 and we're at 197 this year. I would be fine moving that rate up to a higher amount, maybe a 210, which means we would be which means our principal for this year would be going up. Last year, we sort of did a thing. Was initially presented, then it got backed away. It would raise taxes slightly this year, but we're paying more debt. We're getting ready for that $3 million hit that's gonna happen next year, rather than going down in 1,000 from 197 to 195. I'm saying we take it up a little bit.
all right, Bobby, why don't you respond? I'm somewhat in the same, thinking the same, but I don't know if I'm,
The Ellers calculation for the tax rate, they use the equalized value rather than assess, so those really.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. I was sort of like, it's tough to compare them exactly, because that's where I was like,
But I don't think it'll be a decrease or a steady, I think it actually is an increase. It's going up, not down or steady.
right.
but how much?
Yeah, that's the.
That's, I'm kind of with Michael, but I don't know if we're on the same page on how to achieve that goal.
I got in my memo debt service was going up 6%.
Yeah, so in 2025, your net tax levy dollar amount is 1.11 million. With this debt issue, we get to 1.249 million. So it is increasing by about 137,000 from 2025. I realize that the tax rate does decline slightly, but again, that's because of the equalized value. So overall, you are following the trend that you would look to see with that slight increase year over year.
So, okay, help me out. It's 137,000. What is that per 100,000 rate?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, I'm trying to figure out, you're saying it's an increase of 137,000 about that.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to figure out, what is that, what's the dollar amount for 100,000 for our tax rate? So how,
On an assessed value?
yes,
Yeah, we can run the analysis for you. I don't have that here tonight, but I can run that and provide that to Bobby and Carly via email tomorrow to share with you if that would be all right.
sure. I think what the,
If the village is assessed at about $500 million, it's like 27.4 cents per 100,000. You're just doing 100,000 to 500,000 or 500 million assessed rate, Bobby. Because we kind of talked about that a little finance where it's 487 or something like that. I just generally just call it 500
so you think it's going up 27 cents?
per 100,000. It's
Per
gonna be
100,000?
Yeah. Or not, maybe.
No,
that's
per thousand.
Well, wait.
Okay.
Let me think, sorry, get my, the zeros.
This does only 450 million.
Okay.
But if you take off the tip, it's 416 million.
Well, let's just talk dollar. I know there's all these, but I think all of us would like to know. Right now, it's looking like it's a slight increase, but not that noticeable.
$34 for $300,000.
$34. Okay. At what we're looking at right now. Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry, and now I'm lost. Define what we're looking at right now.
We're looking at debt service.
Yes.
How much of debt service from last year to this year per 300,000?
And what was the number, Bobby?
$34.
And so it goes up $34, your property taxes, if you have a $300,000 home. If we borrow the 4 million here, I rounded up a little.
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
But if we do what Michael's saying, what's the difference?
Well, when Michael was talking, I thought the same thing. It was $1.97 currently per
Right.
thousand, going down to $1.95 per thousand, right?
Yep.
So Michael's thought is because next year when we borrow the 3 million, it's gonna be a bigger jump. Why not take some of that and put it in this year So you're not getting a huge jump here. It's the same thing of kind of stabilizing. So we end up paying a little bit more. You know, in this case, it was looking like we were actually going down, right? $100.97 to $1.95. So, but what the thought was, move it up. So next year, let's say bring it to 210. And then next year, that would be less, we would have to raise taxes to get the same amount.
But you're gonna be up to 210 the following year, year after.
So no, we would bring that down by doing it.
Yeah.
You're shifting it from next year, well, from 2027 to 2026. That's what he was suggesting, and I looked at that, but I didn't realize it was equalized value versus assessed value. So right now, the assessed value, it's going up anyways.
Right.
But that's what, if I hear Michael, that was the same, my same thought, because we lost that debt. We want to fill in 100%. Well, why not fill in 110%? So then we only have to do 90% following year. That was, right, Michael, is that what you were thinking, right? Something to that effect?
Yes,
It would have the same, but how you do it, there's a number of methods.
right, yeah,
Are you still holding now that you know it's going up anyways?
I think that I think that we've been we kind of take the foot off the gas on our debt service sometimes, and we can start to pay a little bit more on that for a while, especially with us taking on 3 million this year, and probably 3 million next year.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
So are you suggesting that we take maybe, I'm just gonna random numbers, but like 4 this year and then 2 next year?
Well, I think the debt
Environmental.
thing, they structured the payment, so we're paying a bigger principal balance.
Got it.
So I would be interested to find out if we pay that extra principal, does that absolutely reduce our interest, which it should, but are we definitely doing that? And then if we do that, what does that amortize look like over the next 30 years, or 20 years, however long we're gonna be doing this for? I'd like to see that.
I guess I'm not sure.
So if you're gonna pay more principal in 2026 versus 2027, right? So.
Well, I'm trying to figure out when you say we're paying more principal, how are we doing that?
That's what Michael just said, right?
No, Michael's trying to buy debt down.
Well, no, I'm trying to actually pay more principal here, like
It
you
is
go
right.
back to, page 97, how of our 20-year portion is 290. On the 20-year portion right there, or in the top left corner, you know, you add all those over and it gets us to the 475. If you make that 290 and you turn it into 400,000, we just paid off 110,000 more principal on the whole entire debt over the whole thing, which means that all the rest of those numbers can probably go down in that column. That's what I'm saying.
That's what he was talking about.
Where are you getting that extra money? from?
Yeah, where are we getting the money?
We're raising taxes to do.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually saying, how can actually, yeah,
I see.
$34 more dollars.
Oh,
Pay off an
oh,
extra
gotcha. I see.
210 or 250.
So instead of the $34, you make it $44.
Or $50 or $60, yes, you do that, but you can forward pay this debt, because we're putting so much on, we aren't being aggressive enough.
Instead of going up $34, it goes up $80. They add 110,000.
That's at 300,000.
That's a big jump.
Which is nobody in town.
Wait, I'm sorry, 34 with that proposed table, 80 with,
Adding an extra 100.
with paying off 400 principal. Okay.
Wait, it does what?
Up to $80.
Yeah, almost the more than
Yeah.
doubles the rate.
That's increasing our levy 10%.
I don't know, those numbers weird. Is it you're paying 110,000 plus?
So,
50 or 50.
well, at least figuring that out. We're already talking about a 6.6% increase in levy, right? Bobby?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I'm not doing.
Okay, so we're talking a 6.6% increase in levy, which is gonna increase property taxes for us, for every property owner. Now we pay off more debt, pay off more principal of that debt. Now it's gonna raise that levy much higher than 6.6%.
Yeah.
I don't think our taxes is
Well,
gonna stand for.
first of all, and this is what we'll be talking on, we're not gonna be able to afford we're over the levy limit. We're
I
not gonna be
understand.
able to afford
Right.
that. So that's gonna be something we're gonna talk at. We're not making that decision right now, because we have to look at it, and that's in the broader picture. That's what I'm saying. This year, we're gonna have to look at the budget as a whole. We've piecemealed it, and that's fine, but they're not matching right now. We're gonna, and that's what I'm talking about, why I want a meeting to actually talk about this. So we're not gonna approve that anything right now. Right now, what we're looking at are the ideas to it. And I'm hearing you don't wanna increase that part of it.
That's correct.
Right, and I'm almost in the same boat that I didn't realize, I thought it was going down, I wanted to maximize that, but if it's actually going up $34, I'm fine with that, and I don't know if I wanna do it just to pay that off. Cause I know what's on the other side. This doesn't go against the levy limit, but you're right, it goes against people's pocket.
Right.
So I agree with you on that. So I guess we're at that point. We're kind of pinched in here. We've got to make a decision soon if we want to pull this off at all.
Well, can I do this? Can I make a motion to approve the $3.92 million general obligation promissory note with Ellers on the resolution that's in our packet?
Yes, I would prefer that you do a motion that states that top line.
That's what I just did. Resolution providing the sale of
Okay.
$3.92 million general obligation promissory note series 2025A.
Perfect.
second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Let's go with discussion. Michael, what's your feeling?
I was saying that I'm fine with. If it's $80 more per $400,000 house to start to, or 300. Yeah, on a $300,000 house to start to get in front of a $6 million loan for a village hall, yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with having Viceburg pay
All right.
$80 more dollars to try to get to front run our debt load.
Help me out, whoever can answer this question. Can we achieve both? Can we pass this resolution? And then later on, when we get the numbers, if we want to increase the amount, we're just taxing to pay more off. We can still go for the sale. It doesn't affect the sale, if I'm hearing what you're suggesting that we do. We just get more money to pay off the loan earlier.
I think in the sale, Ariana can help, like, we give them parameters, like how much we want it, like what we want the terms to be. So the person we're borrowing the money from doesn't set, we're gonna pay this much, like that has to be set ahead of time.
But for this resolution, we're just saying we're gonna borrow this $3.92 million, right? And per bond.
Yeah, we're authorizing
Or, no.
to go out to bid.
To go off the bid, exactly right. What Michael was saying is a separate entity of paying off some of the debt early and using taxpayer money to do that. That's separate from this issue right here.
Well, it'd be tied to
It'd
it.
be, but
Tied in the
that's,
sense that you wouldn't borrow as much if you're gonna pay off.
that's gonna be tied to the budget. That's not gonna be tied to this particular note.
I don't know if paying off debt early is exempt from levy limits. Because it's not a scheduled payment, like we were paying an extra 100,000, that's not a scheduled payment, so I'm not sure that that's exempt from the levy.
Okay.
The other thing I'll add is that the notes are callable, so you can make prepayments, but not until 2033. So that's pretty typical when you go to market that underwriters typically want at least 7 to 8 years before they're callable.
Okay.
Meaning if you wanted to pay off the whole issue early. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no. Well, unless interest rates go way down and we want to refinance.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, once. All right, well, we have a motion and a second on there. Any other discussion? Otherwise, I'm gonna do a roll call vote on this.
I guess, are we sure that, I mean, Bill's question, I don't think ever really got answered, like, we can say we wanna go out and get this, borrow the almost 4 million, but we figure out how much principal we pay later?
Well, no, what would happen is we're gonna give them to start going with it. If we meet on the 10th, and that's part of the discussion, we would just call them and modify that from 3.9 to 3.8.
It would probably,
But we need the cash.
yeah, it would still be the same debt issuance,
Yeah.
just changing in what year we're paying it back is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get that top line to go from 290 to like 400, and we start to, because we're gonna start putting more debt on it. We're just, I think we're just being not aggressive enough.
Yeah, I agree.
My issue though is that we have a lot of people that are on fixed income within our village. And our taxes are extremely high. They're very, very high. And even if you're gonna raise them another $50 per $300,000 home, that tends to be a lot of money for someone on a fixed income.
That's what we just did by approving a village hall. We essentially just raised.
I understand that.
$300 a month. We could have decided not to do that and saved them that $300 a year.
Totally understand that.
Oh,
Right.
not what you're saying, money's.
Well, but it's a little different. Right now, we're not raising that. We're filling in debt that's come off. We're replacing debt
I
for this.
think all money is worth the same.
Well, I understand that, but when it comes to people's pocket in their tax bill, it's not good for this, it's not gonna show much of a difference, right? Cause we're replacing debt. They've been paying for it. But the other part of this that we haven't talked about is the operational, which is clearly going to we need to definitely discuss that another time. But right now, we're looking, I hear what you're saying, you wanna be more aggressive. I think we can talk about that, but I think once we look at whole numbers, it's gonna be less likely that people are gonna wanna do that. But I hear what you're saying. And it's a good thing to bring up, absolutely. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but right now I think we gotta move forward with this and then talk about that later on, when we talk about total tax bill. But I'm glad we're talking about the taxpayer, at least. A lot of times we don't. So that's a good thing. So I'm gonna do a roll call on this.
Trustee Brett,
Yes.
trustee Borcar,
Yes.
trustee Brochus,
Yes.
trustee Polanowski,
Yes.
trustee Borglum,
Yes.
trustee Calvater,
Yes.
president McCollum.
Yes. All right.
Thank you, Ariana.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, discussion and possible action regarding approval of the agreement between the Village of Cross Plains and the Wisconsin Professional Police Association.
All right.
You wanna go through this,
Sure.
or would you like me?
I can try. You can chime in.
Okay,
All right, so I'll just go through all of the changes. So this has been worked on for several months between Jay, myself, and Bobby, and then Chief Tony, and then the police union as well. So this is the draft 2026 agreement. So much of the first section stayed the same. So on page 107 is where we see our first changes. So the changes here are in Article 6 for funeral leave. So the red additions are the suggested changes. So calling celebration of life another reason for someone to take off instead of a funeral. And then also including sibling in this line of immediate family members. It didn't include sibling before, so we added that. Celebration of life again. And then we changed that again to an immediate family member instead of an extended family member for the sibling. Celebration of life added a couple of times there. And then another thing we did, so we added some language for military leave. So these are terms that are used very commonly. So those were adopted here. So members of the National Guard or U.S. Military Reserve, leaves of absence and things like that as well. And then Article 28 was added. So this is the school resource officer. Do we want to add anything on this particularly? So this was not in here already. So this was added.
Just, and I guess to give some history,
Yeah,
the reason
absolutely.
that was added there is the regular officers, the beat officers are, and you'll see it's in another agenda, but it's tied to this contract. They're going to 11-hour shift. SROs are not gonna go to 11-hour shift. So we needed to come up with how the hours are going to be for the SRO. That's why that's in there, because it's a
Mhm.
break from, they were all on basically a 6-3.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
All right. And then Appendix B, going here. So, for wages, what was decided was for a 2% across the board increase, and the allowance to compress, the 15-year step to the 10-year step. So basically, so we'll talk about this in the MOU, which is the next item on the agenda. But so if that 11-hour schedule could not be implemented, for instance, by the first pay period in January of 26, the across the board wage increase would be 3%.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
okay.
Jay.
Before you ask the question, I'll explain. All right, so when the officers are going to 11-hour shift, it adds, right now, officers work 1,950 hours on a 6-3 rotation, which is 75 hours every 2 weeks. On 11-hour rotation, they add 52 hours per year, so they actually will be working 2002. So if you took that and you took the salaries, that's an increase in the cost of salaries of 2.5%. So what is happened there is we've decided the village will take 1.5 of that added cost because we're getting more hours of coverage. And the officers, because it gives them more time off and beneficial to that, they're going to absorb 1% of that. So that's where the 3%. So if the thing with the 11 hours is, if we go down one officer, we have to go back to a 6-3. We cannot maintain 11-hour shifts with only 3 people. So then that's their safety net. If we go back to a 6-3 rotation, then they get the 3%, because then there isn't that 2.5% increase in cost and salary item, because they're no longer working the 2,002 hours, they're working the 1,950 hours. Bill.
So that almost answers my question.
Okay.
However, so Article 11 on page 101, I believe. Is that then the safety net? Keep that language in there, because it talks about how many hours they're gonna be working and the shifts they're gonna be working and that type of a thing. And, talking about what we're going to be talking about in the future here is of the 11-hour shift. Does that keep what you were saying before, this Article 11 as the safety net for that 11, in case we get down an officer?
Let me get back to it. What's the heading of the article?
Article 11, hours of work.
Yes, the MOU will supersede that. If it doesn't happen, then it reverts back to that. You're correct.
Okay,
That's fine.
that's really where I wanted some clarification.
Page 102, if that helps, Jay.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Do we need to pay overtime if they're more than 8 hours in a day?
No. They've agreed, if you read the MOU, their shift now is 11 hours, anything over 11 hours, they would be paid overtime.
But they still get differential between 6 p.m.
Yeah.
and 6 a.m.
The differential is still there. And the difference is the 52 extra hours that they get in that year, that we have to pay their salary. That's the bump up, that's what comes up to the 2.5% increase.
Chief, this is the one.
They absolutely want the hour change. That's probably their number one thing. I mean, obviously, they always are gonna want, anybody wants more money, right? But I think it was months of negotiation, multiple meetings, makes sense. The 11 hours is an MOU because it should be a trial period. And it also gives me management rights to go back to the 6-3 if this isn't working out, because now it's a lot more hours to cover. I am gonna be watching it closely, because overtime is already an issue. And so now covering 11-hour shifts is more difficult. But when you get to the 11-hour discussion, we can discuss more about the impact of that. But they absolutely love this idea, and it does give them 52 more hours a year, so if you do the math, it increases them, but it gives them more time off too. With this schedule, they will be off every other weekend now, whereas they were that in the 6-3 rotation, a full weekend takes a full cycle of six weeks. You get a piece of the weekend, but it kind of moves by day. So in order to get 3 days off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it takes 6 weeks. So this is a lot more conducive for younger people. We had a 12-hour schedule in Darlington, it worked very well. This is a little different. So right now we're covering anywhere between 16 and sometimes 24 hours. It just depends on, vacations and all those things. But 16 hours is our top. With this, it will create more of a 20-hour to 21-hour coverage if everything is, normal. If we lose somebody, it's off the table. So I think that's where your question is. We can't really, we could reopen the contract, but why not just fix it now? If I lose somebody, then we can immediately just go back to the 6-3 and make believe this doesn't even happen. So we'll try it.
Are we still looking at here, 1-1?
Yeah, that's your guys' decision, yes.
Yeah, that's been
I
on the
definitely
board for a long time.
was on that board, I think, they tore it off.
No, I did not. I left it there for someone else. I kept it there as a reminder.
But, yeah, for some point, it'd be nice. Because but
So what we're looking at, this is kind of what we've done. The financial part of this is obviously going with the 11-hour, the 2% raise and the compression of 15, going from 15 years to 10 years on the steps. The rest of that stuff are more modified language that brings us more into the modern age.
Right.
And we have it set up where if the next item, you guys don't want the 11-hour, then we don't have to redo this. It's all taken care of under the contract. Questions by anybody? Can I have a motion? And this was ratified by the police officers
Yes.
already. So they're okay with it.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement between the Village of Crest Plains and Wisconsin Professional Police Association.
Can I just, that's really not correct.
Okay.
It's the Cross Plains Police Officers Association that we have an agreement with. They're part of the state
Okay,
association, and that's who provides the negotiator from their side. But we're really making a deal with our officers, not
so where's
the
the
state.
Village of Crest Plains and the Crest Plains Police Association?
The Cross Plains Professional Police Association, I think they call themselves. Right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Well, I just,
I'll second it.
okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure the terms are right. All right, any other discussion on this? Let's do a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Brochus,
Yes.
trustee Paul Mikowski,
Yes.
trustee Borland,
Yes.
trustee Calvater,
Yes.
trustee Bratton,
Yes.
trustee Borcar,
Yes.
president Lightfoot.
Yes. All right, very good. So now 7 is discussion and possible action regarding a memorandum of understanding between the Village of Cross Plains and again,
Cross Plains
Cross
Professional.
Plains, Professional Police Association regarding the implementation of an 11-hour shift schedule for patrol. And just to add something, just if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, if I remember, there's actually gonna be an hour overlap for the officers to share and communicate. So while that's why the chief was saying it's 20 hours versus 22. They were but it'd be, you think 22, but because there's the overlap that I think is important. There's that's where it becomes 20, but we are increasing our coverage by 4 hours, which is half of what we were looking for another officer. I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, the overlap with the way it sits right now, it's not very good, because, you got an officer leaving, an officer coming in, and they high-five each other out the door. Information isn't shared. I check that information by calling them and say, okay, what they have, and they're like, they're just digging for information. I think the overlap, most departments have at minimum a 30-minute time lapse. It also helps with overtime, so if somebody has to finish up paperwork or whatever, someone's in and they could concentrate on what they have to do to get out at a decent hour rather than stay in extra time to catch things up. It just makes sense to have that 1 hour. The plan would be to have someone in at 6 AM and work till 5 PM, and have someone come in at 4 PM and work till 3 AM. They did their due diligence and looked at our call volumes from 3 AM to 6 AM. And during the course of the year, there was only 17 calls that they would have missed. I even went further and looked at what those 17 calls would have been. That would be like an ambulance call or a traffic complaint of some sort that just drove through town, or not major events. Now, I just said that, and I'll probably have a bigger event tonight, but normally during that time frame, it's a lot less coverage. We have had some major incidents that have overlapped into that time, but we do share a good partnership with the sheriff's department. They continue to cover the emergency, and then when we come in, we pick it up. Somebody being in at 6 o'clock will also alleviate create some overlap with the SRO, so he doesn't have to try to split traffic duties and then dealing with whatever's coming in at the schools. Somebody will be available at those traffic duty stuff. So it makes sense. My concern is the coverage. I mean, that's an 11-hour coverage. But I am looking at adding some part-time staff that could help with that. Our overtime is an issue. We're over budget this year. Anytime you're down one, you're just gonna create problems. And so we're doing the best we can with what we have. Right now, we're fully staffed, so hopefully we stay fully staffed, but every year I either retired somebody or lost somebody, so we're gonna do the best we can.
Bill,
But the only question I have, I'm fine with this, the only question I have is, these are questions for you two guys, because you have the experience. Is 11 hours, is there a safety issue with 11-hour, a police officer working 11 straight hours?
No, I work 12 hours in Darlington for nearly 20 years.
right, now the key to that is 12 hours. There's plenty of studies that show if you're working more than 12 hours, you're at a level of like being drunk or something. So even in Madison, it is very, very rare that we allow people to go past 12 hours. Does it happen? Yes, but we recognize there's a downfall to that. The brain doesn't work, so they're under that. So I'm comfortable with that aspect of it.
Okay, and I'm very conscientious of that, so if we've had people on till 12, 13 hours. Emergency detention, for instance, that might take us a while, or somebody's in custody, we gotta do a report because it's gotta be in the morning. I create some separation, so what I'll do is usually say, okay, finish up what you're doing right now, go home, get something to eat, get in comfortable clothes, come back and finish, but you're not on duty anymore. Somebody else is taking calls and those kind of things to alleviate that.
Okay.
That situation.
All right, thank you.
We'll still be, the contract says we have to create 10-hour shifts. With this MOU, if that's all void, but we will definitely create 8-hour shifts. There will be some 8-hour separation. The only problem would be someone who's working and then they gotta go to work for whatever reason. And that doesn't happen very often, but believe me, it happens. So there are times where we might have to go testify in court right away in the morning. So
getting a 2 hour nap, that's all you get sometimes, so.
Court's a lot easier than going to calls.
Right.
Well, no, for the danger and,
Right.
and the, you know, for court, you go there, you wait, and sometimes you get called, you don't. You're not making life-threatening, decisions by, do you have to shoot, don't shoot, you know what I mean?
Like, oh, 100%.
Yeah, so-
That was my concern about.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that's a very legitimate, and that has become a big thing in policing, not to have. It used to be people would go 24 hours, 36 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It has been proven very, does it happen? Absolutely. Very rarely though, it's the exception.
I think officer wellness obviously is high, it's high on my priority, it's high for our department. Having every other weekend off is gonna create some of that, you know, where you know you're off every other weekend rather than, you know, that's when people wanna do something and now they won't have to use up vacation to try to get it off, those kind of things, so this will create some of that. Morale.
Absolutely.
I'll
All right.
make a motion to approve the action regarding the memorandum of understanding between the Village of Cross Plains and the Cross Plains Professional Police Association regarding implementation of 11-hour shift schedule for patrol.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. So moved. Very good. Thank you, chief.
Yep.
All right, discussion and possible action regarding authorization to notify Cross Plains Emergency Medical Service District of withdrawal. So here's the update on this. On Wednesday, I had a meeting. It was the budget meeting. And it ended up, when I came into the meeting, we would have ended up increasing our cost by 18,000 and having a percentage of 60.4%. At the end, we ended up 9,500 and we're at 58.4%. There was a fairly substantial error in budget thing that was caught, and then during the formula that they used vacancy rate, which I don't think should be used, and we did get that dropped, so that made the difference. So that's the one part of the budget, and we'll be talking about later on, it's 95. But it just shows you that we need to really look at things.
Can you say the numbers again? And and that was just what we owe.
Above, and the increase.
The
increase
in the
will-
budget from the EMS district to the Village of Cross Plains.
Correct, the beginning was from 286 up to 304,000. When we left, it was
295.
295 something,
So
and the percentages also went down.
like of what we contribute to the district.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well-
can you say the percentages again?
It was like 60.4, and I think it went down to 58 point something, I don't have the exact,
Okay.
it went down.
Okay,
By pulling, because our vacancy rate was much lower than some of the other places by quite a bit. So that made a huge difference.
What's
But-
the vacancy rate?
When the census goes through, because that's what we're the base is always on consensus of 2020. Well, one of the things they do is if they find a vacant house, they check that off, that no one's living there,
Oh,
right? Okay, so they come up with a vacancy rate, and it's a one-shot deal, and we were at 2.14. One of the towns was at 16.7%. It's a huge difference. But that's that's a picture on that day.
sure.
Doesn't explain, so anyways,
so what made the world of difference? I'm sorry.
because vacancy rate was.
No, I know that part, but the $10,000 less.
Yeah, because of the percentage, it went
And
from 60 down to 58.
I follow that, but $10,000 isn't that much money.
Well, when we're $12,000 over the levy limit, I think it is significant,
that's-
where are we gonna cut the 10,000, but.
Got
So I was happy that we got it down 10,000, I think 18,000 to 9,500, I'm okay with that, and. in it.
Mhm.
You know, the other thing is, it turns out that the town of Cross Plains, the town of Springfield, and the village of Cross Plains all signed the agreement to extend the deadline. Town of Berry voted it down.
No,
Yes,
yeah, but.
hang on, let me just finish and then you can add.
Okay.
All right. So obviously that was a surprise to everybody. So both the chair of Springfield and the chair of town of Cross Plains is gonna call the town of Berry. And I got a note that they are they have a meeting on November 3rd. And they're gonna agree to have a special meeting to bring this up for reconsideration. The town chair of Cross Plains will be at that meeting to explain what we were asking for. But that puts us in a really tight pinch. So what I'm asking tonight is that you give me authorization, because we have a staff meeting on November 4th, where we can consult with our village attorney. And I should know by then if the town of Berry changes. And if they don't, then we go ahead and file for separation, because we need that time period, because December 1st is the deadline. That doesn't mean things can't happen, but it does give us the freedom to do that. But again, it just shows you how this agreement needs to be changed. When you look at what this situation is, you have 3 jurisdictions that pay for over 90% of the cost, and they want to do something that is fairly simple of extending a deadline, and the jurisdiction that has pays less than 10% can actually stop it from happening. You know, we just got to get things right on this. So what I'm asking tonight is to just give authorization to make that notification if the town of Berry does not extend the deadline that we've asked for. Now, Judy, you want to add something to it?
Yeah, I was told they're gonna have a meeting tomorrow instead.
Oh, well, that's even better.
No, I was told that they didn't understand the cover letter or whatever, that's why they didn't do it, but they will do it, and they're gonna have an emergency meeting tomorrow. So I was told.
All right, so I would still like to have that. We'll know tomorrow if we do it, but I would like to have the authorization if we need to do it, that we can move forward.
I will make the motion to authorize the village president to notify the Cross Plains area EMS district of withdrawal contingent on a extension from the other municipalities in the EMS district.
I'll second this.
All right, discussion? Let's take a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Borcar,
Yes.
trustee Bratton,
Yes.
trustee Calvater,
No,
trustee Bork,
Yes.
trustee Kolmakowski,
Yes.
trustee Broch,
Yes.
president Langfeld.
Yes. All right, thank you. Number 9. Discussion and possible action regarding ordinance number 2025-13, approving the annexation of land from the town of Cross Plains to the village of Cross Plains pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 66.0217 sub 2.
All right, so this is the annexation of the 478.95 acres of the PI property. So I have it here. This is the exhibit that was submitted. So this was, the application was submitted to the Department of Administration, and they did submit a letter on September 29th, stating that it is within the public interest, and that it is reasonably shaped and contiguous to the village of Cross Plains. So this would annex these acres into the village of Cross Plains from the town of Cross Plains.
I will make the motion to approve the annexation of land from the town of Cross Plains to the village of Cross Plains. For the PI property.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, we have discussion.
I just want to add, or without knowing the procedure or the process, what exactly happens.
Mhm.
That if for some reason Marchstone does not go forward,
Yes.
this will not go forward. Do we have that ability once it's approved at the board?
Yes.
We-
So it's
with-
called a detachment is what it would be called.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I heard it's just another submittal to the DOA. For what I understand from our attorney, is that it would be another submittal to the DOA to with, detach rather than annex.
Okay, well, help me out here, because
Yep.
this is new to, never had that question, so
Yeah.
we go through tonight.
Yeah.
We approve, so then it's annexed into the village.
Mm-hmm.
So who then has to ask for it to be withdrawn, or can you put it into the agreement of annexation? This only goes if this A, B, and C happens.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm assuming PI
Because-
would have to be the ones to.
Like some detail.
Well, they're no longer,
The owner of the property would
Yeah.
be the ones building that.
Yeah.
Would have to put in for the tax and that from the bill.
Yep.
That's what it's needed for.
Cause I think Marchstone's ownership, correct me if I'm wrong, is contingent on the Marchstone project, but not the annexation
Yeah,
out of the village.
even though I don't have the permission, but I think this has been the intent. Yeah, we wouldn't be doing it, it would be
Right.
the king would withdraw the annexation.
Okay.
and Tom, you're okay with this? I mean, it's your name on here, so I just don't want us to take some action
Right.
that's not legal, because it's only the owners of the land that can ask for it, so. I'd like to hear from you.
Actually, even.
I think the annexation would happen, you just have to separately then de-annex.
Yeah.
So this goes through, then you just have to do.
So you can't do an annexation with contingencies. Okay,
I don't think
But
so.
I mean, isn't there another process? Even after the board approves, doesn't somebody else? I mean,
I think we have to submit it to the DOA.
right. So,
Right.
And my question
Is can we hold up on the DOA submittal?
yes,
Just not record this with the.
yes.
I mean,
Okay,
without our
so-
attorney in the
so
room,
how-
I don't want to make.
So help me
statement.
how you don't follow the board's action.
Yeah.
What, I think there's a law that says if the board,
If you're gonna
directs you to
approve
do
this, then we
something-
would submit it like tomorrow.
that's
Unless,
what I'm,
Would be.
unless you wanted to postpone this to a different agenda, you could also do that.
Change rezone.
But you can't do the rezoning for phase one.
I think we're gonna learn a lot more here.
Right.
Yep.
So that was, just again, our question. Obviously, we don't wanna speak for them, but I don't think from the sounds like it, they don't want their land to be annexed into the village. If we don't do the project.
well, I think it's more, they don't want the land annexed into the village. You guys want the land annexed into the village. You don't wanna buy the land until you know the project goes. And that's the
Right.
case here.
And that's why,
Mhm.
Well, the next item's gonna turn.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, we're gonna have some. I just wanna make sure we don't get into a legal bind and everybody here understands how this is gonna work.
next is almost, it's kind of a chicken and the egg type.
Yeah, I understand. I just don't want us to vote on something and then it's locked and there's a
Right.
big process and everything else.
Can we move this to after closed
I
session?
was just gonna ask, can we just move this agenda item down after the closed session?
There's a motion on the table, you'd have to kill it first, but.
Boy, I'd have to get my book, the Robert's Rules of Order. I'm not sure how that.
I
No,
don't-
he's exactly right. You'd have to kill
Kill
the
the motion
motion,
first, then we move on.
wouldn't pass, and then there would have to be a motion to move line.
Yeah, I know how to move an item. I'm
Right.
just, I just didn't know if you could, the word is not table because you don't wanna table it,
It's just,
but can
Everybody
you?
votes no.
Yep. Just everybody vote no,
Okay,
and then have a new motion.
yeah.
To move
Because we
the
put it
item-
under reconsideration.
Remove the item after closed session.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna
That's what
kill this
you
one,
want.
we'll move it to after, then we'll bring it up for reconsideration, which is totally, that one I know is good for Robert's rule. All right,
Perfect, thank you.
yeah,
You bet.
so, we have a motion, we know that, let's just, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, say no. No, all right.
Wait, you just switched it up for like.
I wanted to make sure there was no for people listening. Yes, I know what I did, I just wanted to make sure I was very clear on what we're doing here, all right.
No.
So, can I have a motion then? We're gonna make a motion to move item 9 to after the closed session under Roman numeral 8.
I will make a motion to move item 9 in the agenda for tonight. To, an item after the closed session in tonight's meeting.
Second.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same. All right,
So now we need
Did
a
it.
motion to go to closed session.
Right.
correct.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
And I'll second.
We have a motion. Hold it here. Okay, Elizabeth?
I just asked the budget items for the department heads that are then,
Yeah.
are those getting moved to November 10th for sure, or should we stay?
We should.
Should we just move them to the 10th?
It's it.
Let's, yes. Yes, we will make that, we'll postpone it to the November 10th. Okay, so we had a motion and a second discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Calvin.
Yes.
Trustee Brad.
Yes.
Trustee Polakowski.
Yes.
Trustee Brooklyn.
Yes.
Trustee Brochus.
Yes.
Trustee Borcar.
Yes.
President Lightfoot.
Yes. All right. We're in open session. Thank you, Bobby.
People in the back here, Bobby? Did the people in the back here?
Oh, he wasn't kidding.
It's a first.
All right. So we've done A, we're back into open session. So now it's possible action regarding Marchstone Water Infrastructure Cost Sharing Proposal. We can do this in a number of motions, or someone can try to cover them all in one. I would think it'd be easier to do it in sections.
I agree. I'll kick it off with the first. I'll make the motion. That we pursue option 2 from the Marchstone Development Water Service options, which includes a ground reservoir instead of a elevated water tower.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve option 2 of water service options. All right, any discussion? Let's do a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Calvater.
Yes.
Trustee Brochus.
Yes.
Trustee Polakowski.
Yes.
Trustee Borklin.
Yes.
Trustee Borcar.
Yes.
Trustee Brad.
Yes.
President Lightfoot.
Yes. All right, the second motion should be on the cost sharing agreement.
Do you want me to take a stab at it again?
Go for it, bud.
I'll make the motion to pay for the estimated $9 million for option 2. That the village of Cross Plains covers 3.9 million and Marchstone covers 5.1 million. And any percentages over or under that 9 million estimate will follow the same percentages that 3.9 and 5.1 account for.
I'll second that.
All right, got a motion and a second discussion?
I'll speak, I just think that the village is paying too much for this option and the percentage, and it should be higher on the Marchstone development.
Okay. Anybody else? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Polakowski.
No.
Trustee Borcar.
Yes.
Trustee Brooklyn.
Yes.
Trustee Brochus.
Yes.
Trustee Bratton,
Yes.
trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
president Longo.
Yes. All right, and what's the third?
Was it the fees?
Impact
The
fees.
I will make the motion to waive for Markstone Phase One, the Conservancy land dedication fee to the amount of $103,716. And to waive the parkland dedication fee for Markstone Phase One at the cost of $345,204.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Michael?
I'm gonna say that I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the village are waiving these fees. I believe these are ordinances and that we shouldn't just turn a blind eye to them. We should be collecting this money as this is a development, and we would do this as any other development that was going into the village. It should not be overlooked at all.
Okay, anybody else? All right, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Bratton,
Yes.
trustee Brochus,
No.
trustee Borland,
Yes.
trustee Borcar,
Yes.
trustee Paul Mikowski,
No.
president Longo.
Yes. All right. I think that covers it unless someone else has an issue. Jeff, is there anything we're missing here on what we've done?
Like, it's all what we need, so thank you on that.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll get to the next item.
all right, we're good? All right, so now we're gonna go back to item 9, which was the annexation. Do I have a motion?
I will make the motion to approve the annexation of the land, the PI property from the town of Cross Plains into the village of Cross Plains.
I'll second.
All right, motion and second, any discussion?
Just a reference, that's ordinance number 2025-13.
All right. Thank you. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same.
No.
Okay. So we're going, where this says continue, general business continue, then 1 should really be item 10. So, this, item, I'm gonna make a motion to postpone to the August 10th meeting.
August 10th.
November?
November.
How about November?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. All right, 11, I think we can handle that tonight. This is 11 is discussion and possible action regarding a resolution to authorize a levy limit exemption for charges assessed by Cross Plains Area EMS. Now, just so everybody has an understanding of this, this is only, we can't take everything. It's just this year's, because that hits above the levy limit, you can set that aside.
Right, so this is an exemption that's on the levy limit worksheet. It's always been there. It's not a new thing. The only reason we can take it this year is can't take it unless you're at your levy limit. So if in 2 weeks we decide to go way below the levy limit, this is a moot point. But if we're at the levy limit, we can claim the extra 9,500 in EMS on top of our levy. So like that's excluded. So in order to do this, all 4 municipalities have to pass this resolution. So even if we pass this tonight, we can then, just don't have to do anything with it, so.
This is just something special with the district.
It's EMS and fire,
Yeah,
you
it's an
can-
exemption.
You can do it with your fire district.
So you,
Yeah.
you can exempt from your levy limit.
Not
for-
only if you,
Just the increase.
Just the increase.
so if we were at 12,000 above the levy limit. And 9,500 of that, let's say, is from EMS.
Sure.
We can take that and put it over in this exemption. Now we're only 2,500 over the levy limit.
Was the fire over at all? We not.
No, there was no increase on fire.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
I looked into it.
So this is just to get it as something, a tool that we can use if needed. It's not to say that we're doing, there are some negatives to that. But this is just a thing that may be a tool that can help us in November.
What are the negatives?
Well, the negative is clearly it's the taxpayer. I mean, the whole reason for levy limits is to control taxes, so you have the taxpayers concerned. The biggest thing from my position is one of the more successful tools when I negotiated things with the EMS district, other members, was that this is gonna kill us with the levy limit. I can't use that as an excuse anymore, cause they'll say you can just exempt it. Because we've all signed the papers to allow that. So it clearly takes away any leverage that we have in any negotiations for that. I'm gonna support this because I'm looking bigger picture of changing the agreement that will help solve this problem a different way. So that's where I'm at with it.
Well, so every single year,
Yeah, we do this every year.
if the increase goes up for one of the districts, we can just exempt that from the levy?
If we get agreement from everybody else.
Okay, that seems weird.
It is, it's,
But only for add or limit.
yeah,
Yeah, it's only for.
and it's only the amount above, we can't take the whole 290 and take it off.
No,
It's only like
No.
this year, it'd only
It's a
be, the
difference.
most would be 95.
sure, it's like the levy limit's there for a reason. And
Yes,
now all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's an annual exception you can just put in for your districts, but I mean, taxpayers don't.
But I think it's because it's a joint district. I understand you might not have total control because there's 4 municipalities versus you don't have control of the other 3, so if they provide.
no kidding, and we all know that, right?
Why I think it's.
Yeah.
So anyways, I would support just having this as another tool in the toolbox, not necessarily supporting that we use it.
Well, aren't we saying we're using it if the other municipalities agree?
No, what's happening, everybody's just signing it, and if they need to,
They can
Can
put it on
use
their
it.
sheet if they don't want to, they don't have. to.
yeah, so I'm not gonna stop town of Cross Plains if they wanna do it.
Some of the other towns might not be above their levy limit, they won't need to use it, but they still have to sign.
So let's say.
Everybody needs
This
agreement.
exemption.
So,
For some reasons, this was.
let's just say that we get the exemption for this year. And it's $9,000. Who pays that $9,000? The other 3.
No, the taxpayers.
We just raised our levy by that 9.
Just allow
our,
It ju-
our taxpayers do, we just get our levy.
That's what I'm saying, this benefits really, it's not a big, it's a benefit only when you're in a tight squeeze.
It's,
And in the rural areas, this was really designed for the rural areas that don't have a lot of growth, so they don't have a lot of movement in their limit, and they wanna pay to give a raise to their EMS staff. This is the only way they can do it.
it's just like I believe on the form, there's an exemption for your debt service. If we borrowed $15 million, we have to pay that back, but it doesn't influence our levy limit, right? Because the debt service is an exemption as well. Well, we have to pay for our debt. It's just another exemption that we're using. And we use debt service exemption all the time.
All right, can I have a motion?
I move to approve the resolution to authorize a levy limit exception for charges associated assessed by Cross Plains Area EMS.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second, any discussion?
I'm gonna vote yes, but I'm not voting yes next year. Well, I might not be here next year, so maybe it doesn't matter, but. This seems like a very terrible.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, you don't have to use the tool. You have the control of saying, no, we're
Sure.
gonna work our budget, so
Sure.
we take in the 9,500 within the levy limit.
I'm not saying we would get, that just seems like a easy thing for a municipality to be like, every year, we're just gonna keep going over, exempting this, well, and that seems.
Yep.
I will,
I'm not
I
gonna
will
argue
vote
with
for it this time.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. So moved. All right. Any future agenda items?
They didn't show up, but a while ago we got an email about people wanting more chickens in the village.
That goes to, I thought that was on the plan commission.
Yeah, I was gonna
What
put
do
it on, I was going to put it on plan commission, but I guess it's up to you all,
No,
because,
that's gotta go to plan commission.
Yeah.
okay.
They,
Absolutely.
I wasn't trying to speak for the whole board, but like, they were emailing me.
Well, they were
And I said, "Talk to
talking,
Carly, but I
yeah.
think you have to go to plan first."
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about ordinances though that aren't like land ordinances. They're talking about ordinances that are about chickens themselves
Yeah,
and the
but I think
number
that's
of
part of
chickens.
zoning. It's in
Think-
zoning.
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because we had a big.
Well, yeah, there's something in zoning too, but there's also ordinances that are outside of the zoning code, so I just didn't know if we wanted to
Yeah,
go.
no, this one needs to go to plan.
Okay, so we'll have it at plan next
I
time.
hadn't told them, because they said they were gonna come to this meeting, and I was like, well, I have the packet. If the
Yeah.
topic isn't here, I wouldn't waste your time.
I did talk to them and I said I would follow up with them after tonight, so. Or after I talked with
So
Jay.
that, I thought I read that on plan, I must have got an email then?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very official looking email. She made changes to the ordinance and everything.
It's definitely going to. Plan.
Yep, it'll go to plan on Monday.
All right, anything else? All right, do I have a motion for adjournment? So moved.
You have you given approval to post for the position or what do you? I was wondering about that.
Well, I thought it was in our ordinance that we can automatically post.
Yep, we don't have to get approval anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have.
I just-
Both places.
I just love it already. We've got, do we have a job description, everything set
Yeah,
to go?
absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no, remember we changed that 2-3 years ago? Yeah,
We're good.
yeah, we're good.
I didn't see any. Oh, maybe.
Well, we were thinking you were gonna change your mind.
Yeah.
We thought we're giving you a little grace period to see if you wanted to change your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we.
Yeah, we'll get it
Yeah.
posted, yep.
All right, so did you second that? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, very good, thank you. Big meeting, this was